Dear Diary, today we're getting kind of funky. We're gonna experiment a lot because last entry I talked about how I'm feeling really stuck. Well, talk about stuck, we're getting out of the studio and then into the hallway. TLDR, it's because basically my school and my program, drawing and painting, is doing a protest because you might be able to see a little room to my right, like a little door. Yeah, oh yeah, here she is, that. So it was originally an open studio where students could come and paint, and then they shut it down and decided to use it as a storage room. So to protest that, we're all painting in the middle of the hallway. So I'm priming a canvas because we're starting something fun today. I was like, okay, if we're gonna go protest and show up and show out, might as well do something pretty fun, right? So today we're kind of ditching the paint. For this piece, the only color of paint I'm gonna be using is white. And the rest, I'm gonna be kind of staining with something called Tumeric. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you know what that is, obviously, but at home we called it haldi. Like in Hindi, it's haldi, not turmeric, which is interesting because it's really healthy for you. So a little bit, I'm gonna do a little bit of backtracking here, and then I kind of want to keep it less technical for the first half of this entry, and near the end I want to show you a little video I made that explains more about the materiality of what I'm doing here. So Diary, we've talked a lot about materials and methods. I'm taking the class with a professor, his name is Andrew Ruckledge, and I'm realizing that I have really kept myself in a tiny little box in terms of painting. I think I was just using what I was supposed to and what I knew, but I'm realizing now I can use literally anything I can get my hands on, including I can use like science. I'm using chemistry, I'm playing with pH here. So things have been fun and interesting and new. And I think that's the way to do it. I mean, I finally feel a little bit, I won't say I was in a rut per se, but like last year I know I was just making a bunch of pictures for the sake of making them, and I was never happy or satisfied with them. But like, as I'm making this diary, I'm happy and satisfied. Like, I'm having a lot of fun, because, and my professor Andrew talks about this too, but like thinking about the material as a person, or like giving it personal or humanistic characteristics, you know, like personifying a material kind of makes it like you're working with it as well as the picture. Like, because I do figuration, it's very normal to feel like there's something at play with you in the piece. So normally it's just the figures or the people, but considering material as like an element that's working with me as well versus I'm just using it is fun, especially something as alive as turmeric. I'm gesturing to it here because you saw that when I first applied that paint, it was yellow. It was bright yellow. But it's not anymore. So yeah, this is the work table I'm using. I'm using a lot of unorthodox brushes. Like, those are two shoe brushes you see, the long one and like the little short round one. And I'm like, yeah, no paint here. There is no paint here. This is all from staining and from playing with turmeric. And she really likes to play. Like, I don't know if you can see the floor, but I stained the shit out of it. But you can see, yeah, that's not good, but you can see that little puddle that's like half yellow, half red. That's a chemical reaction going on. Basically, when you add something like a basic substance like baking soda to turmeric, it turns red. It doesn't stay red though, and turmeric can also turn red in sunlight. Again, I swear to you, I have more at the end of this video. Basically, I had to make a little video for class exploring or like experimenting with something, so I'm gonna show you that video and we're gonna talk more about the specifics of what I'm using and doing here. But Diary, I just want to tell you, like, if future me is ever watching this, or whoever picked up this that needs it, if you're feeling stuck, get out of your comfort zone and try something new. Like, desperately. Like, I felt so high energy because I was trying new stuff. Like, even here what I'm doing, like, so it's a reversible, like, pH, you know? So, like, I can turn what was red back into what was yellow by adding more acid. So turning what was basic back into acidic. Like, look at that. That's so much fun. And, like, we last entry, we were talking about cycles and, like, how things are born from destruction, or destruction births things in its own unique way. And now just imagining this, like, cyclical color changing, reversible color change that's possible with a natural pigment in earth. Using, like, I'm spraying lime juice on it. That's what the acidic substance is. Like, that's natural. Baking soda, kind of natural. I think it mimics limestone, which I don't have access to right now. But anyway, we gotta get out of the comfort zone, Diary. We gotta try new things. I'm happy and excited I tried this, but I need to do more. I'm thinking maybe I should play with sculpture. I'm thinking, remember the inks, like inks and turmeric, how will that play? Look at this foam up. Like, that's so exciting. So many new textures just appear. And I feel like in a piece, when something appears that I didn't deliberately put there, I find more value in it. You know what I mean? Like, in the random, in the spontaneous, in the, like, it makes me feel like there's something there other than me. And that's easier to accept and love than something that is entirely me. So yeah, but I need us to remember that, Diary. Get out of our comfort zone. And fuck yellow paint. We don't need to use yellow paint anymore. Like, you have this now. This is so much fun. Like, imagine a piece that goes up yellow, or like with a high percentage of yellow dominance, and then after a while, if you put it in the sun, it's gonna turn pink. Like, that's sick as hell. I like it a lot. See, like, now it's back to yellow because I sprayed the whole thing with lime juice. And actually, I'll show you later. Like, there's some shots in here later, and even in the thumbnail, you can see that, like, the piece, I left it in my studio in the sun for too long and it got bleached. So that's what you see in the thumbnail. Like, the left side is the original piece, bright yellow, and here I'm doing some like transferring. I put lime juice on my hand and I'm just touching the canvas for the fuck of it. Why not? But yeah, I left this piece in my studio and it got bleached white and pink, kind of. So that was cool. I mean, it feels like there's a new life that's starting to emerge in my practice, and I really like that, you know. I don't like things when they get stale and or boring, so let's do everything we can to keep it from getting stale and or boring. But yeah, I think this is something I'm going to use more of. Even like, I use a lot of loose charcoal and just blue powder on it. The spontaneity of powder, watching how it scatters and how it dances, like, I like that. I want my practice to be like a dance, you know? New moves, exciting moves. Something new, something old. Cycles? I don't know. I just want to have some fun. And on that note, we're gonna transition over to that class video I made, and you're gonna learn a little more about the behind the scenes and materiality of what I did. And other than that, Diary, we'll catch up next week and we'll talk more about material and methods. So bye. So today we'll be continuing experiments in Tumeric on a recycled canvas, which is what you see here. I'm just priming it with some white paint to start. So the only color you can observe on this canvas is white. And then I apply just a light layer of turmeric, is what you can see on the camera for now. But what I'm doing is mixing it, that's a turmeric solution in that bin, with some baking soda, which was in here, but I've dumped it all into there. Which basically will turn the turmeric red, because as it turns basic, it turns red. It's a pH indicator, and that's what you can see in this corner. It takes quite a while though, so in this next shot, you can see it starting to turn, sprinkled all over the canvas, along with some loose charcoal, which is what that black rectangle is, just to observe how it reacts. And I consider them both pretty loose pigments, so I just wanted to mix them together as well, turmeric and charcoal, to see what would happen, what color it would make. And apply that to the canvas. But first, I have to apply some wet paint so it has something to stick on. So that's what I'm doing here. I did a little bit off camera, which is what you'll see in a second. Just priming it with some little, you can see the little splotches of pure white. So the powder has something to stick to. But yeah, all the color on this canvas is either charcoal or turmeric. And you can see that it's slowly starting to redden. And then I stepped away from it for a while, about an hour, and it really got quite red. This takes quite a while. I'm not sure why, but it just does. So you can observe like beautiful colorings coming through, especially in the area where more baking soda was applied. And this is the mix of turmeric and charcoal. You can see it kind of turns like a burnt sienna brown type thing. And I just go and I blow it onto the parts with wet paint, and it clings on really nicely, really organically, I feel. So I just keep going around and doing that in spots. I had done this with the original underpainting as well, which is why, yeah, so in the original underpainting, you can also see some beadwork happening there. I just wanted to see how these things would interlay, what textures would come up. And as you can see, there are quite a few really beautiful things happening, I feel, that I could potentially use for an actual piece. This is just practice. Just to see how it reacts on canvas. I wasn't sure if the turmeric would still turn red in cohesion with like acrylic paint, but it does, because I believe that's pretty neutral, so it doesn't interfere with the chemistry happening. But you can see these really gorgeous textures happening, and I'm just going in and smearing some of that turmeric and charcoal solution on there. And yeah, you can see on my table that there is no paint at all here. And now I am basically turning the turmeric back yellow. So what I've done is I've screwed a spray bottle top onto a bottle of lime juice, and then I'm just spraying the whole canvas with that to see what happens. And I just want to turn it back yellow. We're just playing here. This is not a serious piece, so although I really liked how it looked earlier, we're just messing around. And something I'm noticing with such a heavy application of the baking soda paste is it starts foaming up when any liquid, but especially an acid, is added to it. And that foam is really interesting, and it's really interesting as it dries as well. So a lot of really interesting texturing is happening here, which I'm quite fond of. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really did here, is I just turned a good duration of the piece yellow, and then I'll show you the final product in a sec after I messed around with it some more, using the same techniques, more charcoal, some scraping. I dosed pretty much the whole thing in yellow just to see what it would look like. And any second now, here she is. Yeah, I actually kind of liked the piece in progress before. I kind of added these big black circles, but I still kind of think that this was a great experiment to just sort of see how this might be applied into an actual piece instead of just maybe a little demo. But as you can see, there's a huge range of colors and textures you can get out of an experiment like this, and I highly encourage you to try it. Thank you.